everyone, my name's Amy and I'm from a company called Create Access. I hope you're enjoying your time at the festival. We're going to do a video today on inclusive play. So first thing I want you to do is have a think to yourself or with your friends or your parents, whoever's in the room, and write down what you can notice about me from sitting here. Anything you can think of at all, anything that you notice about me, that you might notice if we were going to play a game together. I'm just going to pause for a few seconds to give you a chance to do that. Okay, so you might have written down that I have brown hair. You might have written down that I have glasses. You might have written down that I have a grey t-shirt on. You might have written lots of different things. I'd be quite interested to hear all the things that you've written. But there's a few things that you won't be able to notice just by looking at me. And that one of them is that I have a chronic illness. And chronic illness is an illness that you have for a very long time. And my illness makes me tired a lot of the time. So actually, I don't look like it now, but sometimes I have a walking stick, and sometimes I have what's called a rollator, and those help me to walk. And that would be a bit different if I was using them and we were going to play a game. So what we're going to do is me and my lovely assistant Tim and the rest of our friends, because we don't have enough human friends here today, but we have lots of soft toy friends, are going to play a game, and we're going to talk about different ways we can adapt it so people with different illnesses and disabilities can join in. Okay, so I'm going to get in the circle and we're going to play a game that you might know. That's called Duck, Duck, Goose. Tim, do you know the game Duck, Duck, Goose?
Yes.
So here's our circle. We have Tim, we have Footwolf, we have Spudge the dog, we have Panda, and here we have Hippo. So if we were going to play Duck, Duck, Goose and I was feeling tired, can you think of any ways that we can change the rules of the game a little bit so that I can join in? Because Duck, Duck, Goose involves running around the outside of the circle. And I can't run around the outside of the circle today. So again, I want you to pause the video just for a few seconds and have a think about different rules we could put in for the game Duck, Duck, Goose so that I could join in. Okay, so I'd be really interested again, and you can write in your journals or your notes what it is that you've come up with. There are a few things that I can think of. The first one is that I can nominate someone to run round the circle for me. So Tim, do you want to get up and go round? So, you know Duck, Duck, Goose?
Oh, sorry. Duck, duck.
I would say duck, duck, duck.
Duck.
Because
Oh,
it's my turn.
sorry.
It's okay. So, sit down. Tim's done something really important here. So, I wanted to adapt the game, and Tim's got it wrong, and he's just said sorry, and now we're going to carry on. And that's really important. You might suggest a way to adapt a game for someone, and they might say, actually, no, that doesn't work for me. So really good that you've come up with a solution, but if they don't want to do it, that's fine. You can just move on and try something else. So, Tim's going to go round, and he's going to pat people on the head, and I'm going to say duck, duck, and get to choose when it's goose, because it's my turn. So Tim's going to go. Duck, 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 goose. At this point, Footwolf would chase Tim round the circle. No, Tim, you beat him, so now Footwolf's doing duck, duck, goose. Great. So another way that we might adapt this game so that I can join in as someone who can't get up and run is that we change the competition you do with the person that you choose. So I could go round the group and go hippo, duck, panda, duck, Spudge, goose. And me and Spudge could do a different thing. We could do rock, paper, scissors. We could do a tongue twister, and the first one who goes wrong loses and has to do the next round. You could come up with loads of different versions, I'm sure. So we're going to have a think about another way someone might not want to get involved. So you're playing duck, duck, goose, and normally you'd pat people on the head as you say it. Duck, duck, duck. What if someone doesn't want to be touched? What are some ways that we can come up with to play the game if someone doesn't want to be touched? So I'm going to pause the video, have a think for a minute, and see if you can come up with anything. Okay, so one of the things I can think of is that instead of running around the outside of the circle, we run around the inside of the circle. So we'd make our circle bigger and we'd all sit further back. You won't be able to see them for a second because we're on a small screen. And the two people involved would run around the inside of the circle. And the reason why this is good is you don't have to touch someone. You can point at them as you go past and say, duck, 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 goose. And then you don't have to touch someone. But you may have come up with other ways, and again, I'd love to hear with all the other ways that you come up with to play the game. So the last one that we're going to do is, how do you play duck, duck, goose with someone who can't see? So if you had someone who was blind playing with you, the tap on the head might be helpful so that you know whether you've been chosen or not, but running around the outside might be difficult or it might be dangerous. What are some options that we could do to play this game so that someone who can't see or is blind can play the game? I'll give you a few minutes to have a think of any ideas. Okay, so again, running around the inside might be a good way to do this because there's a barrier on the outside that's a little bit safer. Again, we could use the one that we used to start off with and change the competition. We could also do what I did earlier, which was go around and name people as you go round. So you'd say hippo, duck, panda, duck, spudge, duck. Good way to learn everyone's names as well if you're in a group of people that you don't know. I can't think of any other ways, but basically all the ones that we've just played could be used. The adaptations could be used in some way. So the last thing that I want you to do is have a think about what your favourite game is and come up with one way to adapt it for someone to play if they had an illness or a disability. And it can be anything that you want to adapt. So for someone who can't get up and run, for someone who may not be as good with their words, for someone who can't hear, whatever comes to your mind, think of your favourite game and think of one way you might change it so that someone can get involved. Okay, so again, I'd really love to hear all the things that you've written down. So write them down in your journal, and we're going to try and get some feedback from all of you on all the brilliant ways you've come up to adapt your games. So this is really important when you're playing, whether you're playing at school, whether you're playing with friends in the park, because it's really important that everyone gets included in a game if they want to play. And we're all really creative and we love coming up with things like stories and playing games, and we can use that to make sure that everyone gets involved. And you're kind of inventing a new game, or at least a new adaptation of a game as you go, so it gives you loads more ways to play things. So if you find that you're stuck inside on a rainy day and you can't run around, you can use one of your adaptations. So I hope you have enjoyed the session. I've definitely enjoyed talking to you. And I hope that you come up with lots of new versions of games that you can play with your friends going forwards. Thank you.